Thank you for staying with us. It's time now to take a look at stories making headlines on the front page of Nigerian newspapers. And I begin with the Matrix. The major story here says 80.2 billion naira fraud. Fresh messy details emerge. 80.2 billion naira fraud. Fresh messy details emerge. And some quick riders there. EFCC reveals how Bello moved $720,000 from state coffers to pay child school fees. You find more details when you pick up the Matrix newspaper. We move now to the Blueprint. Still talking about Bello to EFCC on 80.2 billion naira fraud. Vacate arrest warrant. I will show up in court. Egwatu fixes made attempt to rule on application. Now, how Bello snubbed our invitation, EFCC. That's one of the major stories you find on the front page of the Blueprint, and you can find more when you pick up that paper. We'll move now to the Salient Times. Yahaya Bello withdrew $720,000 from Kogi Coffers to pay his child's school fees, EFCC boss says. Olukoyede vows to resign if Yahaya Bello is not prosecuted. What Yahaya Bello told me when I called him on phone, EFCC chairman is saying. Now, you can find more details of that story and more on the front page of the Salient Times. Now we'll move to the Guardian newspaper. Fraud allegations and money laundering. EFCC intensifies manhunt for Bello, detains Sirika. Freezes 300 accounts. And you find splashed on the front page pictures of persons of interest to the EFCC there. And quickly another story. Ganduje summons Ayeda Tiwa, 15 Guba aspirants over Undo APC primary outrage. Less than 20% of Nigerians access 12 hours power daily. Some stories you find on the front page of the Guardian newspaper. We'll move to the front page of this day newspaper now. Olukoyede, EFCC went above and beyond to give Yahaya Bello fair hearing. Agency begins probe of contract awards in presidency, National Assembly, judiciary, others to arraign Hadi Sirika next week over alleged 8 billion naira fraud. All right, more details on the front page of this day newspaper. Now to the First News newspaper, revealed how Emefiele printed 684.5 million naira notes with 18.9 billion naira. EFCC saying stamps ex-CBN governor with fresh full count charge to arraign him April the 30th in Abuja. Then to the front page of the Daily Trust now, Nigeria Air, how EFCC nabbed Sirika over 8 billion naira fraud. Sacked directors for interrogation. Ex-Minister Brother's account remains frozen. To the Nation newspaper now, still talking about EFCC arresting Sirika, slamming Emefiele with fresh charges. And the writer there says, anti-graft agency boss speaks on Yahaya Bello, better edu others. And you can find more details on the front page of the Nation newspaper. And to this Nigerian newspaper, ex-Aviation Minister Sirika in EFCC net over 8 billion naira fraud. More details when you pick up this Nigerian newspaper. And the Platform Times, banks lost over 8 billion naira in 9 months to Yahoo boys. That's what the EFCC also said. Says ex-Governor Bello stole $720,000 from Kogi for child school fees. Theophilos.
We move to the Punch newspaper. It says here, EFCC may prosecute 300 Forex racketeers. The writer says EFCC gets order to freeze 300 accounts. Say one account transacted $15 billion illegally. Naira would have crashed massively if 300 accounts were not frozen, says chairman. That's in the Punch newspaper this morning. The New Telegraph says here, Imo, Yahaya BOT member, ex-rep member, local government party chairman dump PDP. In gale of resignations, ex-governor says party failed to embark on internal reform, enforce its own rules, and offer credible opposition. That's a New Telegraph this morning. The Business Times says flight cancellations, how airlines swindle passengers. Air Peace more culpable of flight delays, cancellation, non-refund, says passengers. reports defaulting airlines to CPU NCAA, says Aviation Roundtable scribe. NCAA will remain committed to protecting the rights of all consumers. We move to Daily Independent. Airlines set to reduce fares as man sees inflation easing. Man, CPPE, NECA, Lord Dangote for cutting diesel, jet A1 prices, say domestic production holds key to nation's economic recovery. See impact on cost of production, job creation, pressure on the Forex. The Vanguard newspaper says Dangote refinery cuts diesel jet A1 prices to 940 naira and 980 naira. Of course, price cuts to impact nation's economy, says man, will reduce pressure on foreign exchange, says CPPE. It's a relief to transport operators, says Alban. Nigerian News Direct says again, Dangote refinery crashes diesel, aviation fuel prices. That's the bold header in the Nigerian News Direct this morning. The leadership newspaper says, bleeding economy, stakeholders want stiffer penalties for oil thieves. Bleeding economy, stakeholders want stiffer penalties for oil thieves. That's in the leadership newspaper this morning. Daily Times says, Speaker to electricity tariff, Speaker to sponsor bill for compulsory National Assembly stakeholders consultations. Electricity tariff, Speaker to sponsor bill for compulsory National Assembly stakeholders consultation. That's in Daily Times this morning. Business Day says, Disco sale, trillion naira debt to test investors' appetite. Disco sale, trillion naira debt to test investors' appetite. That's in Business Day this morning. Nature News says Tinubu approves Ogun State's Special Agro-Processing FTZ. Tinubu approves Ogun State's Special Agro-Processing FTZ. That's in the Nature News this morning. And finally, in sporting life, Leicester 5, Southampton 0 in the Discourse 6th goal of the season. Nigerian helps Foxes maintain top spot. Here Nacho missing again. Aribo plays for 83 minutes. That's in the Sporting Life newspaper this morning. Of course, I was looking for the Chelsea match.
Did you read my mind? I was looking for that story.
I was looking for that, yes.
5-0. I'm shocked.
It should be. It will be in the headlines. I'll just have to scan through, but 5-0.
It's somewhere there. I know someone will kill me after this show.
Veronica, yeah. You're touching the lion still. Yeah. Well, I think it's here. Arsenal, Juve, Chelsea, Man City, Man United. Okay, that's a different...
No, it's a different story.
That's
not...
Story
let's leave it so that some people can have peace of mind this morning. But interestingly, making most of the headlines this morning is EFCC's statement with regards to Yahaya Bello, Hadis Ibrika, and every other persons of interest to them. But for more details, you can just pick up any of these papers and you'll get the details you need. But coming up on TVC Breakfast,